Yaklaşık 25 sene oluyor ve 25
For around 25 years, I've been working on brain imaging, mainly patients with schizophrenia and patients with mood disorders. If in countries where research culture is not that developed, by the way, Turkey is not alone, so I'm excluding the US, UK, Anglo-Saxon world, and Asia, so I can say that in most parts of the world the desired level of research culture has not been reached. That is why there are problems which utilize advanced techniques, technology. These studies, trials have their own problems because their replications are very difficult to do and some definitions have not been well established yet. So patients from different clinics are treated by different approaches in different clinics. Schizophrenia in 1977 by World Health Organization's study, diagnosis is made similarly all around the world. There is no big problem. However, when it comes to researches about schizophrenia, deficit and non-deficit schizophrenia subgroups that we are working on, or there are some works on hallucinations, and recently negative symptoms, in order to understand them better, BINS scales have been developed, so we are more prone to using these subscales or subgroup scales. Everyone, there are some common value found by everyone, and there are some uncommon values that are found by other people. So everyone, every different individual has different findings, but they do not know what that they mean. That's why they don't publish it. The reason behind is that there's a huge gap between variations. There are huge variations. For the time being, the reasons of these variations, when we do not know the rationale behind them, then we skip confounding factors, and they are included in the error section, which means loss of beta values, which are important. This is the technical section of my presentation. In the morning, Thomas Fau's presentation, we have heard that we are missing many important confounding factors, and I believe that in the future, when we identify these factors more, we will get more coherent results. Why advanced technology studies are important? I want to share an anecdote of a former minister. That minister is not my father. In 1970s, phantom planes, exhaust outlets were prepared, manufactured by Turkey. This duty was assigned to NATO, and in Turkey many scientists, engineers get together to do that, but this is the most simplest part of these phantom planes. But an engineer from Germany comes to Turkey and he shows a very really easy technique, and then only after that Turkish engineers were capable of manufacturing the exhaust outlets of phantom planes. So you may see that you are publishing not the results but artifacts sometimes. So in order to learn these fine-tuning or fine details, this is very important. So when we go abroad, and when some experts from abroad come and visit us, enable us to learn the fine-tuning. So calibration, one way or another, brings some standards. I don't have a slides, and I want to share another memory. Turkish army, until becoming a member of NATO, didn't have standards. I'm not from the army, by the way, Turkish army, by the way. So with NATO, we have developed significant standards. In 2000, by the end of 1990s, with the EU standards in the field of education and other fields, we have made strides when it comes to these standards. So it's not automatic for cultures, for countries to reach the next steps or reach a next level. However, what is important is to get the experience from abroad, to advance the experience, advanced technology from abroad. At that point, calibration is significant. So, just like the standards of NATO, just like the standards of EU, this calibration enables you to use a specific, certain, well-developed standards. So, if you do not have that culture in Turkey, which is the case in Turkey, we don't have that culture. It takes many years to identify these standards, but with calibration you get them. So we try our best to participate in calibrations such as Enigma and other calibrations, and try to produce images that fit with these standards. Another disadvantage is that know-how. So if you give the data and you stop everything, it means that you are excluded from the analysis, which is done by some big centers. So centers like us become the ones which only provide the data. The best way to manage is to be included in the know-how process. We should get involved in the know-how process. When you read the books, free surfer literature and other books, it seems very easy. However, when you get into analysis itself, then things get different. For this reason, we try our best to get involved in each and every correlation. For schizophrenia, differentiating between deficit and non-deficit seems very easy. However, each and every time we need an assistant to go abroad, to Maryland, to the US, and check whether do we make diagnose in the same way with them, and in other areas, in other fields, correct measurements and standards, do we use the same measurements and standards with them, is something very important. My suggestion is that we should be open to collaborations.
Bunu kalben de açık olmalı.
But we should do it with all the aspects. We shouldn't only talk about it, but we should take action. If we believe that we couldn't do it, or if we are not going to exert any effort, then we shouldn't get into any collaboration. Otherwise, when we couldn't produce the data in the same quality, it means there will be a deterioration. Data quality in neuroimaging is something that can be controllable to some extent. Which data, which qualities are there. If the quality is low, then we can eliminate them. However, it's not something very easy always. In conclusion, collaboration is something good because it takes you from somewhere to another place in a short time, but it has some liabilities. If we are not ready to undertake these liabilities, then we should then we won't be fair to them. And the other aspect is that in the know-how and in the project phases, we should be involved both in Enigma and in other collaborations. People take our opinion, obtain our opinion, they get us involved in the process. So I would like to thank them, and I would also like to extend my thanks to the panelists for making me the first speaker. Thank you very much, Ali Saffet.